In the teleportation space, Lin Yi told Su Mumu that he wanted to open the chest that he got as a gift here so that no one would see. Lin Yi started to take out the chest that he got. Lin Yi opened it, which made Su Mumu excited. Lin Yi got skills Poison Bubble Growth Type, equipment class Mage rank Divine Wind Boots, and equipment rank Silver Hunting Sword, and get 5 free stat points. Su Mumu was surprised by the prize of 5 free stat points and felt that this was the reason why Lin Yi was so strong. Lin Ye's first prize was a silver rank hunting sword and a great swordsman class equipment. The effect could provide 200 points of damage and 5 points of strength and had a passive shield effect break. Secondly, the wind boots have a gold rank effect. They can increase ability by 10 points, movement speed increases by 30%, and have a passive ghost step effect. The ghost step function can increase the ability to dodge. The third is the skill book Poison Bubble with gold rank and equipment mage class. The effect of this skill can create poison bubbles that can explode, and someone who is hit by the explosion has the opportunity to enter a state poison for 5 seconds. The last one is that the Emerald Ring has a silver rank and can only be refined once. The effect can reduce the cooldown time of the skill by 10%. The Emerald Ring effect cannot be combined with the cooldown effect of other equipment. Mumu, who saw the gift he received, was surprised by the very abundant contents of the gold rank treasure chest. On the other hand, Lin Yi felt that gold rank equipment alone was considered equipment, the best among beginners, but Lin Yi didn't expect that in the treasure chest he got there was a silver rank. Even though the emerald ring that Lin Yi got was only silver rank, this can reduce skill cooldown, and if this item is auctioned, the price will be comparable to free stat points, and this ring will sell for millions of alliance coins. Lin Yi gave the Poison Bubble skill book to Su Mumu, because it can only be owned by mages. Su Mumu was surprised by the gold rank skill book that Lin Yi gave him, but Su Mumu felt that the ice element was enough. Su Mumu explained to Lin Yi that she could only learn ice element skills, and she knew that she would not be suitable for other element skills besides ice. While explaining, Su Mumu was surprised by the system notification in front of her. It turned out that Su Mumu had awakened a hidden talent, 5 Elements Master, which allows him to have 5 elements at once. Su Mumu felt confused because he had never heard of this skill before. Lin Yi, who knew about his hidden talent, felt that it was interesting. Lin Yi thought that it seemed like Su Mumu needed more skills with different elements, and if Su Mumu immediately got all the different elements, he should get unexpected benefits. By Lin Yi felt that if this was the case, this would be the difference between Su Mumu and other mages, and could be said to be his trump card. Su Mumu felt happy with his trump card, and at that time Lin Yi asked him to go out of the teleportation space with him. Su Mumu asked Lin Yi about the free points that he had, and she also asked,
"Do you need my help?"
Lin Yi said that the only way suited him and not suited him. Su Mumu agreed, and they teleported out of the dungeon. Lin Yi and Su Mumu came out of the dungeon, and outside the dungeon there were beginners who were scared because of the scorpion that was in the dungeon. And when Su Mumu came out of the dungeon, the beginners were very happy with the presence of the goddess Mumu, who they thought was very beautiful. One of them asked about someone next to Su Mumu. A black-haired beginner said that the person next to him was an ordinary man who was rumored to have just gotten a class with an SSS rank. The brown-haired beginner said that it was absolutely impossible. The black-haired beginner was amazed by his colleague, who didn't know that previously he had recently sold a shadow dagger for 100,000 alliance coins. Suddenly, a yellow car that seemed to be a Lamborghini braked. The person who was in the car and came out to say that, as Lao Zhao said, he saw the girl he mentioned and it was more interesting than this wild dungeon. Lao Zhao was a red-haired person who was surprised by his statement because there was no reason for him to lie. Su Mumu quickly grabbed Lin Yi's hand and told him to immediately go with him. Lin Yi was confused by the reason behind it. Su Mumu said that she hated people like he. Everyone thinks that people only rely on their family's wealth to plunder and dominate everything, working on geniuses and taking anything of value in the dungeon, and his hobby is playing around with women from poor families with all their assumptions. Everyone thinks that person is very disgusting. That person told them to wait a moment. That person is Huang Xiaofeng. The sole heir of the Huang He group said that Su Mumu was beautiful and wanted to ask her to meet him. The person behind him remembered that Huang was someone who didn't register for a whole semester. One of his friends called him stupid because Mr. Huang registered only for the exam. He also got high-quality rank equipment that had been adjusted before awakening. That person, I think that with good talent, Mr. Huang will be number 1. One of them said that he heard that his personality was also bad, and that he also liked to play with women. His colleague defended Huang by telling him not to spread rumors, and that person thought that everything was just slander, and there was no evidence at all. Huang Xiaofeng was happy because wherever he goes he will be the center of attention. While pushing Lin Yi, Su Mumu said that she already had a boyfriend. making Lin Yi surprised. Huang Xiaofeng was surprised. He didn't expect it because with Lin Ye's low-quality clothes, he thought that this was like flowers and cow dung. Lin Yi turned to Su Mumu and said that again. She made Lin Yi a shield. Lin Yi felt that Su Mumu looks like it took now him. With the palm of his hand, Huang Xiaofeng intended to push Lin Yi. He told Lin Yi to move away from his sight. But Lin Yi slapped Huang Xiaofeng's hand away, which made him surprised by Lin Ye's action. After that, he started smiling evilly. Huang Xiaofeng said that he didn't expect a loser like him to be quite brave towards him. With his warrior charge skill, Xiaofeng felt that Lin Yi didn't deserve to act like that. Lin Yi casually activated his reversal plunger, which immediately made Huang Xiaofeng, who wanted to hit, turned around and received an attack that made him hurt. Huang Xiaofeng held his stomach and said that this was very painful. He raised his head up, asking Lin Yi what tricks he used on him. Lin Yi bowed towards Huang Xiaofeng, telling him that everyone saw it, and he didn't do anything. Lin Yi also confidently mentioned that his class was only priest, someone who gathered behind in confusion with Master Huang, who suddenly fell. Others said that he didn't know, but Lin Yi was just a priest and didn't have attack skills, so Mumu was shocked because he had just seen Lin Ye's true talent. Huang Xiaofeng was angry and started attacking Lin Yi with the same skill. But when he hit Lin Yi, he felt same thing again. While holding his stomach, Huang Xiaofeng rolled around and said that Lin Yi was cheating. Lin Yi looked down, thinking that this was just an experiment on the healing reversal effect, and Lin Yi guessed that apart from causing damage to the target, the plunger skill could also produce negative effects. Lin Yi said that Huang Xiaofeng was very weak because he made himself unable to use it at half his strength. Huang Xiaofeng told Lin Yi not to use dirty tricks and fight him with his skills. Huang Xiaofeng thought that now Lin Yi must be sorry, and now he told Lin Yi to kneel and apologize to him. From the crowd, one of the people who were Huang Xiaofeng's friends stopped them and said that fighting uses skills among the awakened. Forbidden. The person was amazed that a priest could defeat Master Huang, who was wearing full equipment. People in the crowd said that there was a heated discussion on the forum, and looking at the items being sold, that person guessed that it seemed like the items sold by Lin Yi must be the result of completing the dungeon, and now that Lin Yi was already level 5. His colleague said that it was impossible because this had just happened. The first day, people weren't sure about Lin Yi, who managed to reach level 5 with just beginner dungeons and wild dungeons. Huang Xiaofeng's friend, Lao Zhao, was curious about who Lin Yi really was. Lao Zhao apologized to his friend for being too excessive, and he also apologized to both of them on his behalf. Lao Zhao thought that he had never heard of Lin Ye's name, but with his rumors, he felt if his estimation is not wrong and Lin Yi awakened with a strong hidden talent. Lao Zhao said that he also didn't want to destroy this harmony, but Lin Yi felt that his friend didn't think like that. Huang Xiaofeng called Lao Zhao a damn thing because he felt that his friend should not apologize and also help teach him a lesson. Huang Xiaofeng was surprised by his friend, who took out the paper. Xiaofeng asked him what he wanted to do. Huang Xiaofeng was taped with paper, which made him immediately faint. Lao Zhao said that his friend was the young master of the Huang group, and after this incident he was worried that his friend would not let this just end and would send someone to trouble Lin Yi, who, hearing that, he became confused. Lao Zhao asked Lin Yi not to go to school yet and gave him 50,000 alliance coins in his card as an apology. And if Lin Yi wants to level up, Lao Zhao asks him to contact him, and he will make sure Lin Yi doesn't fall behind. Lao Zhao also asks Lin Yi to avoid Xiaofeng for a while. Lin Yi, who heard him, tells him that he can't guarantee that. Lin Yi also thinks that this person is very interesting because instead of seeking revenge, he prefers to offer help. Lin Yi went and told Lao Zhao that he wouldn't move if he wasn't disturbed, and in fact he wanted to see how much trouble Huang Xiaofeng could send him. Lin Yi thought that when that time came, it would be a good time to test his catastrophe skills. On his forum, Lin Yi is sharing a quick escape strategy for the rock cave and hard level in just 1 minute 30 seconds, and selling some of the items that Lin Yi got previously, and adding a stone cave SSS grade clearance strategy with an unlock condition worth 5,000 alliance coins. Their Iswo was surprised by the emerald ring effect with a 10% cooldown reduction. Someone asked whether the emerald ring was being sold because he wanted to buy it even by selling his house. There were those who thought that completing a dungeon with that level of difficulty and being able to pass it quickly was definitely a lie. There were also those who argued that it was 500 coins. An alliance just for a strategy guide was crazy, and one guessed that the creator must be crazy about money. Su Mumu, who felt doubtful, asked Lin Yi.
Lin Yi, can this strategy really be sold at a high price in professional forums?
Lin Yi, who was typing, told Su Mumu to trust him because he knew that no one could refuse additional free attribute points. On the other hand, another team member was in the dungeon reading Lin Ye's guidebook. It was written there that the Bata Cave's terrain is very complicated, and the SSS grade conditions even limit teamwork. People who read it said that this was impossible. The black-haired man was curious whether this was fake or not, and he wanted to try to confirm by buying it, but he asked his old colleague. The gray-haired man holding a large sword told his colleague to just buy it. The orange-haired woman agreed because even though the book was probably a scam, there were still free attribute points. The person holding the cell phone told his colleagues that someone had already bought it. There were two people who bought Lin Ye's guidebook for 5,000 alliance coins, and 3 minutes later, still in the dungeon, someone put an iron hammer. That person was the person who previously bought Lin Ye's guidebook. And it turns out that he managed to complete the dungeon with an SSS grade. People find it hard to believe that he managed to reach an SSS grade. People who bought Lin Ye's guidebook gave positive reviews for the book. Some asked if this was real. Some thought it was true. Just a scam review. He also asked people who commented positively how much he had been paid. And with the positive comments, there were 3 more people who bought it. And so the people who bought it gave positive comments. Some said that the person who sold this book was a pioneer of skipping classes because even though the guide was simple, Lin Yi was the first one. Found this. Some said that previously the terrain was complicated, but after buying this book, the rock terrain became easier to pass. There are also people who still don't believe it and think that the person who commented is the seller himself because he is not strong enough. There are people who say that the costs are reasonable and not explosive. He feels that the guide maker will make a lot of money. How to skip classes are actually simple. There are many people who have successfully completed the dungeon with SSS grade. That's why many people are curious to buy them. Lin Ye's post became a lot of people's talk until it became #1 on the trending list because Lin Ye's guide was very good and you could skip class and get SSS grade without pain. Su Mumu was amazed and felt that this was great. He was also happy because there were 100 people who order and immediately get 500.000. On the other hand, in a quilt, there were people there who were interested in Lin Ye's post, and he asked his subordinates about this person's information. His subordinate said that this person used hacking methods to hide his information before posting, but they knew the IP was at the Academy Jiang City Professional. That person smilingly said that he heard that there were some interesting things happening at the Academy this year. Su Mumu told Lin Yi that someone was very interested in Lin Ye's big sword and wanted to order it. Lin Yi was surprised that his big sword was suddenly ordered. Lin Yi typed that the fixed price was 80,000 and there was no haggling. The person who bought it typed if the price is very cheap and he intends to buy it now. Lin Yi typed that they would meet at the academy entrance. While smiling, the person typed that he would arrive in 3 minutes and asked the big boss to wait for him. Su Mumu called Lin Yi like a big boss because the big sword had earned almost 300.000. Lin Yi felt that this was nothing because everything went according to his expectations. Because the prices are reasonable and the content is useful and some people are actively promoting it for themselves. But now they have to complete more dungeons. Lin Yi thinks that the silver rank graduation weapon is indeed the best equipment in the early stage, but in the end it will need a replacement even with top-tier equipment without the combat awareness of the person who uses it will escape in the trials. Su Mumu reminds Lin Yi that trial time is very valuable, and from what she heard before, Lin Yi always gets stronger. But now Su Mumu is confused because now Lin Yi prefers to spend time strategizing and working hard to make money. Lin Yi doesn't know what to say. Lin Yi smiled after hearing that Su Mumu cared about him. Lin Yi answered that he made money to be able to protect the people he loves, because after all they have protected him all this time. In his previous life he had no parents and never felt the warmth of a family. Being born in this world was lucky for him because he had parents who loved and protected him. But 10 years ago, after the magic wave ended, his relatives were disgusting, treating him as if he meant nothing to them and wishing him to die during the magic wave like his parents. That way they can share their parents' inheritance among themselves. His aunt considers Lin Yi to be a mess, and since no one is taking it, she intends to take it, but 90% of her brother's inheritance will be hers. The other cousins hate seeing Lin Yi staring to them and called Lin Yi an ungrateful brat. Because no one knew the possibility that his aunt would throw Lin Yi into an orphanage, his male cousin wanted to let Lin Yi starve or be beaten to death and guard him like a dog. He also thought that everyone didn't mind either. His other cousin jokingly said that his behavior was not very good and felt he was dissatisfied with this and was too greedy. Lin Yi felt that if he fought it would be in vain to avoid being exploited and abused. He ran away. At that time his plan was to survive so as not to starve, and after some time he intended to repay them for their actions. But that's when his aunt and uncle took him returned home. Even though they were not related by blood, they treated him like their own child. They caught the world off guard, and they also helped Lin Yi reclaim his parents' inheritance without asking Lin Yi for a single penny and taking care of him wholeheartedly. Those so-called relatives were also brought to justice and received the punishment they deserved. Accept it. Without them, Lin Yi can continue his studies and live a normal life. If he hadn't been saved, Lin Yi was sure about how much more he would have suffered, and simply put, there were no more of them. Becoming stronger also meant that Lin Yi could protect the three people who were precious to him and not repeat the mistakes of the past. When Lin Yi was thinking about his past, suddenly someone called him. A little girl called him Big Boss. He asked Lin Yi.
Is he the one who sells big swords?
She is a student just like Lin Yi. She introduces herself and her name is Bai Ji. Lin Yi assumes the person ordering is a muscle bro and he doesn't accept transactions like this. Bai Ji says that it's really she and she can't contact him because of his cell phone. Really out of battery at the moment. With a sad expression, she said that the person who ordered it was really herself. Lin Yi underestimated Bai Ji, thinking that this little girl couldn't play the big sword style. Lin Yi assumed that maybe Bai Ji, who he called a little girl, might have super strength, and it was also possible that she wanted to use all her abilities. Lin Yi started to take the sword from his inventory, told Bai Ji to catch it, and explained that this was a hunting attribute sword. Lin Yi told Bai Ji to pay close attention because once sold it cannot be returned. Lin Yi started throwing the big sword at Bai Ji quickly. With full focus, Bai Ji managed to catch the big body thrown by Lin Yi. She even demonstrated an attack style. Lin Yi feels that Bai Ji's Seda is definitely strong. Bai Ji feels unsure if the price of his sword is only 80,000. Because this sword is silver rank graduation equipment, so far Bai Ji's group has only gotten it once. And when she asked at the outside market about the price of the sword hunting equipment, perhaps around several 100,000, Lin Yi answered that he felt that Bai Ji's teacher had teaches how to find out the market price of equipment. Bai Ji was confused. She wasn't good at counting and also didn't really understand about high money. She turned her face away thinking rich dog. Lin Yi told Bai Ji that next time if you want to buy something, don't forget to check the market price and don't be fooled. Bai Ji thankful, saying that she would remember. They started to transact using cell phones. And she is also very grateful for the opportunity to buy this big sword at an affordable price and no need for cash of delivery. Lin Yi has received 80,000 and now Lin Yi's balance is 1 million. Now Lin Yi is a gold card user. Lin Yi told Bai Ji for not hesitate to contact him again if he needs something. On the other hand, Bai Ji is emitting a light and directing it at Lin Yi. And he was hit by a light on the back of his head. The system said that Lin Yi had been blessed with an unknown power and received a special gaze of the goodness of luck buff. The bag made it so that every time Lin Yi cleared a dungeon, he could increase the treasure chest. The loot is 1 level and the effect lasts 24 hours. Lin Yi curiously said,
"Is this your talent?"
Bai Ji answered that this was her talent and she wanted to join Lin Yi's team, who she called the Big Boss. Seeing Bai Ji, who was awakened with innate luck, Lin Yi felt that this talent was rare than some legendary talents. Seeing her acting shy, Lin Yi felt that Bai Ji was not lying and that Bai Ji's talent was luck that could be upgraded. The strategic is almost invincible. The effect of this talent is not limited to the quality of permits even for those with poor talent. Under this talent buff, the person affected by the buff is likely to be able to get a legendary or even mythic level box. Lin Yi asked Bai Ji.
Have you told anyone about the effects of this talent?
Bai Ji answered that she didn't. Lin Yi said that good. Lin Yi asked again.
Does his talent have limits?
Bai Ji replied.
This can only be used 3 times a week at most, and each time it can only be applied to one person.
Lin Yi warned Bai Ji not to tell anyone else about this, otherwise she would fall into unknown danger. No matter what Lin Yi said, Ye felt that people could be dangerous. Hearing that Bai Ji felt that it was scary, she was grateful that she hadn't told anyone. Lin Yi warns Bai Ji that her buff is a very valuable rare resource, and once the news is leaked it will attract many greedy professionals. And to monopolize her abilities they might even imprison her, taking away her freedom and future. Bai Ji is confused, asked.
But isn't the Professional Alliance a sure place will be 7 in the end?
Lin Yi explains that the Professional Alliance is indeed a large-scale benign organization that leads humanity against the magic tide. But there are many factions within it with complex relationships, open and covert fights, murders and backstabbing always occur. Because Lin Yi invited Bai Ji to join his team, Lin Yi promised that his team would look after her. Bai Ji was surprised and happy because she was continuously accepted into his team. Lin Yi introduced his name again and he congratulated Bai Ji on joining his team. Lin Yi invited Bai Ji to meet their teammates. Bai Ji was happy and was sure that the others would not believe that she was in the front row and might not want to work the same as him. Lin Yi also felt that way. Lin Yi thought that with his weak physique and playing the great sword style, he was not sure if anyone believed him. A few moments later, Su Mumu, who had explained about the little girl he was carrying, wanted to confirm it again.
What is she muscle? New teammate.
Baiji agreed and introduced herself to Su Mumu. Su Mumu smiled and introduced herself too. Baiji, who knew Goddess Mumu, was very happy. She said that Su Mumu was very beautiful and also had soft hands. Su Mumu started to glance at Linyi, who was smiling. Su Mumu whispered that she was very cute. Su Mumu asked Baiji.
Lin Yi wouldn't have any ulterior motives, right?
Baiji, who heard it, became confused. Linyi, who saw them, was surprised by Su Mumu looking at him like that. Linyi reminded them to go eat because they were going to the dungeon later. The two of them turned their heads while telling Linyi about which dungeon he would choose. Linyi said that the dungeon he chose was a nightmare-level goblin dungeon, so that they would all get free attribute points. Linyi intended to go alone, and after he back he will make a guidebook and will give it to both of them. Su Mumu was surprised by Linyi, who wanted to challenge the dungeon alone with the nightmare level. The nightmare level is the highest difficulty level of the dungeon. During the beginner period, the prizes are the most, and the treasure boxes dropped are at least gold level. But the monsters in its insides were also increased explosively. Even if there were people entering as a team, and if the new professionals weren't careful, they could lose their lives in the dungeon. This was a difficulty that could be said to be money above life. Su Mumu said that this was impossible. Su Mumu was angry at Lin Yes, who wants to challenge dungeon alone, because Su Mumu felt that even if Lin Yi was strong, he couldn't rashly challenge the nightmare level dungeon. Lin Yi calmed Su Mumu because he felt confident in his abilities. Su Mumu understood, but the nightmare level in the dungeon was so dangerous that even advanced professionals had had accidents. And even though this was a dungeon for those below level 10, there were many professionals above level 10 has been seriously injured, and it has been a long time since a new professional challenged him. Baiji, who saw him, thought that Lin Yi and Su Mumu were a couple. Because she doesn't want to disturb them, Baiji goes with the excuse that she remembers that she has something to do and she will leave slowly, so they can chat quietly. Lin Yi gives Su Mumu a massage, telling her that he knows Su Mumu is worried about him. He promises to challenge the level hard on dungeon, and now Lin Yi asked Su Mumu to go home and eat together. Su Mumu, who was treated like that, melted. Lin Yi thinks that he didn't expect Mumu to be so against him, and now he can only trick him for now and will find time to settle it tonight. Su Mumu, who is still annoyed, says that it was a promise, and if he breaks it, she will tell people his master. Lin Yi could only agree. Su Mumu felt unsure and suspicious of Lin Yi, who was very easy to persuade. The news broadcast someone the strongest new rookie. The person who took the photo felt familiar, and the person remembered that the person he was photographing was a genius who ran a dungeon alone among the newcomers preparing for this year's exam. This person got the photo on the Spotaday's Professional Academy dungeon teleportation. Many people think negatively about the post and consider it fake. They think that the one who can clear the dungeon alone is someone with top-tier equipment, a rich second generation, or a master or young lady from a big family. Some predict that the strongest newcomer is the young master of the Huang group, Huang Xiaofeng. There is people who feel unsure that the strongest newcomers come from Jiang City because this country is so big. And that person felt that there must be another expert who could complete the dungeon alone. Someone posted a picture of Lin Ye's post saying that the person who made this guide was from Jiang City, which made many people wonder. Lin Yi told Su Mumu, who was playing on his cell phone, to quickly finish it and eat immediately. Out of curiosity, Lin Yi took his cell phone, which made Su Mumu angry with Lin Yi. At Su Mumu's family dinner table, Su Mumu's mother said that they had worked hard these past few days. Su Mumu's mother asked them to eat a lot so they could grow. Su Mumu accepted her mother's request. Lin Yi thanked her aunt. Su Mu's father Mumu asks how Lin Ye's feelings. He also asked if the trial went smoothly. Lin Yi said that everything was fine and very smooth. Su Mumu's father knew that since childhood he was very competitive, and they all knew that once Lin Yi made a decision that even 10 horses couldn't take it back. Su Mumu's father warned Lin Yi not to be too stubborn in things, because in the morning the tree Ledestis the easiest to crack. Lin Yi asked his uncle if anyone had complained to him. His uncle said yes, and that person was now beside him. Su Mumu felt annoyed with her father, who was so blunt. While pouring soup into a bowl, Su Mumu's mother said that they would not interfere with what Lin Yi wanted to do. But they both sometimes wished that Lin Yi could be like Mumu. With a smile, Su Mumu's mother said to live a healthy and stable life is enough. With annoyance, Su Mumu asked where he could get it. Lin Yi will follow his aunt and uncle's request and will be like Su Mumu, a quiet salted fish. Hearing that, Su Mumu felt like he was being teased. Lin Yi said that he was just joking and asked his aunt and uncle not to worry. Lin Yi promised that he wanted something beyond his abilities. His uncle said that it was good and started giving Lin Yi a bank card. Lin Yi refused. saying that he had made quite a lot of money. Hearing that, his aunt called him. She said to Linyi that he would have an exam and would have to spend a lot of money if he didn't receive the money. His aunt said that he would be very angry. Linyi calmed his aunt, saying that he would accept it and asked his aunt not to be angry. Linyi began to take the bank card given by his uncle. While putting his bank card in his pocket, remembering his father and mother and hoping they would see this and see him well, Linyi intended to appreciate the life he has now, which did not come easily. For their sake, Linyi intends to become stronger. So Linyi intends to break his promise to Su Mumu and enter the nightmare level dungeon.